C.R.P.H.A. business advocate. This one's going to be interesting, possibly. All depending on how you look at it. Okay, we're dealing with topic number one here, first off, which is that JCPenney, even though they declined a number of years ago by closing a number of their stores, including their catalog stores, they and also trying to revamp the store by allowing the person that helped Apple, and then later on maybe a moderation of help Target in a way. They have put him in charge of helping the company revamp itself in some way to possibly where they'd be able to do better and possibly expand again. But the one thing is that the outcome of his laid out plan, it went down the tubes. Because he thought he knew the general public. You can't just automatically assume that you know the general public. You need to have various things of, okay, if this doesn't work, as you know, that then we need to have some backing in order to stay afloat, as it were, or even beyond the base of afloat towards still in a positive line. He didn't go to that way. He was then let go. Therefore, he even said that he took responsibility for those in non-calculated possibilities. Does he really? No, I don't believe he does take any responsibility. He just wants to make it sound like he does, obviously. But at the same time now, too, is that JCPenney still thinks that they will be able to outdo Sears. What would have easily helped Sears Kmart essentially, would be if JCPenney's merged in with them, just like Rayleigh's, Bel Air, Nob Hill Foods. Because originally Nob Hill was by itself for some time, and originally Bel Air was by itself in the beginning of its startup, and so was Rayleigh's. It was only within maybe the moderate 80s or what have you that they decided to connect into one particular large chain. Even though Rayleigh's had a number of stores and Nob Hill had a number of stores as they got bigger, and so same thing with Bel Air. But Nob Hill went outside the aspect of Sacramento. But so did Rayleigh's. See, JCPenney is not going to be able to outdo Sears, even though right now Sears is still in decline. And it's dragging Kmart down with it. The current CEO, president of Sears Kmart, does not know retail. Much like the one that helped Apple does not know retail. The one that helped Apple and then later on went through after Target, then went to JCPenney. He doesn't know retail, obviously. The basic fact is, if you don't know retail and you have a innovative way of doing things or helping a company that you think that would be beneficial, you need to really, really know the base of retail. And even if you have to work in retail for a certain number of years like I have, then and only then will you possibly only truly know retail. I know retail enough to know that none of the two, not the CEO president of Sears, not the one that tried to help revolutionize and innovate JCPenney, they both don't know retail, obviously. If the one that's CEO president of Sears knew retail, then Sears wouldn't be in a decline. And on top of that, then guess what? Sears would have been flourishing along with Kmart, would have been able to reopen a number of stores, right? As well. But here's the thing. Just like Mervyn's, Sears is becoming to that point. So is Kmart. When where Mervyn's was passed on to different distributing companies or corporates offices that they were responsible for the longevity of the store. And the one thing is that they kept on passing it through different different offices, right? That's not going to help a retailer stay in business. Passing the responsibility on to various numbers of other companies. Mm-mm. The original founder of Mervyn's said himself that if he knew that that sort of thing was going to happen, he would have kept it in the family. He would not have sold it like he did. That same thought would have easily helped Kmart. Same thought would have helped Sears. That same thought would have helped J.C.P.H.A. Because we all know at some point down the line there's going to be a lineage of or some sort of biological connection of those founders, right? With that, they would be able to make the company stay within the family, like Long's brothers did. Tom and Joe had it stay with the company stay within the family. The Hoffacker family had the Sport Shop stay in the family, and go on. Instead of selling it to companies that may look like they're doing a really good job to stay in business, didn't help help the other retailers stay in business, is not always going to be the same identical case when it comes to your retail business or any business for that matter, even outside retail. J.C. Penney cannot cannot do that because it is more than proven that a company that has more than a short number of stores can outdo another competitor. The Fox business thought is that JCPenney's possible thought is that even with the Sears' current decline, that they'd be able to outdo them in sort of a kind of a pop-up surprise sneak attack of sorts. In an easier way to put it, by the more they see the decline of Sears, the better they be able to look towards a positive line and kind of build up from that, right? And eventually become like another Walmart in the sense of a surprise expansion. Mm-mm, there's no way. The investors of Sears are really racking their brains trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And why is the CEO president allowing this to happen if he knows business so well? But he doesn't know retail, obviously. So that CEO president of Sears Kmart needs to be taken out and replaced with somebody that actually knows retail and business all in one. The one thing is also that would have that if that happens, then possibly Sears might have still a chance even with Kmart. if it doesn't, then Sears is going to be pretty much like Radio Shack is currently, and like Circus City is currently, and Toys R Us and Mervyn's and many others are like, or they're non-existent. So JCPenney, the reason I found that JCPenney was declining so early in the century that they did decline is due to the fact that they had a good sum of money in their financial aspect, and I kind of figured this out. Why? How would they be able to afford to buy a section of a structure that's connected to the building of which was the Sunnyvale Town Center? They had it structured like it was a Nordstrom or Neiman Marcus, a moderately low scale one, really, in that sense, or moderately low scale, really. And then after buying that piece of land that was attached to the Sunnyvale Town Center Mall of JCPenney's own store in Sunnyvale, California, at that time, then they found out, oh, we shouldn't have spent that much money. They could have built it up even more before even going into that aspect of or venture. But if they wanted to put the store in a building, they could have put it in the mall, but leave it the way it was, and then restructure it the way they had it and then even as they even as they purchased that piece of land, they could have done it that way. But no. After the fact of closing the San Antonio Shopping Center location is when they did that. Thereby, that is one of many things of why they declined so fastly and so abruptly. It may not be noticed right now because it's been so many years. And believe me, I racked my brain practically trying to figure that out. And so far, that's what I can come up with right there in that one, which seems more than feasible and more than logical, really. Topic. So that on that topic, the Sears better get rid of the current CEO president and replace him with somebody else before it goes to a complete decline to the point to where they can't make a comeback at all. I mean, hell, right now it doesn't look like they're going to be able to make a comeback with him in the seat, with the current CEO president in the seat. So they're pretty much done for. Because the more they elongate and allow him to make decisions, pretty soon those corporate execs will have no jobs, and plus their stockholders will be really pissed off. So basically, here's what JCPenney could do. I know at some point between the 60s, 70s that JCPenney's went into declaring the aspect of being in the public venue, especially when it came to entering the NYSE. They could easily pull out of that and do what In-N-Out Burger is doing, in the sense that where they did not go into the public venue of even starting with the NYSE. Thereby, once they build up to a larger percentage, a lot larger than they did in their after their beginnings, then they could easily do a small to moderate re-entrance of inside the NYSE, but in such a way that that the stockholders don't have a full say so. Sears could do the same thing, but Sears is has said that they're going to be taking their employees' benefits away, especially when it came to retirement benefits. Bad move there for Sears. They can't be doing that. That that won't help them. It won't help them in any way. And if they think it does, then they're wrong. So and so Sears needs to figure out if they would want to pull out of NYSE, become a private company like In-N-Out Burger for a certain length of time until they get back up to the point of building themselves back up, especially with Kmart. And J.C.Penney's needs to figure that out as well. And also, with that, if they both did that at the same time, or even if one did it before the other, then they can easily expand a lot easier without having to worry about the NYSE on along the way, and with that, they'd be able to possibly get more and create more jobs, in which this country is still in need for and of. And also, topic number 2 is the Gap. The Gap Inc., essentially, as it's been known right now. The Gap was opened between the later 60s, the latter part of the 60s, early 70s. And it was established in the city of San Francisco, California. From what I can gather information on, anyways, at current. And also, as the Gap grew and became more popular with the fashions, and eventually did a stupid thing by taking out the brand of Levi, even though the brand of Levi was pulling itself out anyway out of stores. At some point within the 80s, 90s, that the Gap essentially coincided with or connected with Banana Republic, Old Navy, and a number of others. Now, now, with the fact that they've declined even quicker than most retailers in their venue, in their small, moderate to moderate venue, the Gap Inc. is thinking of doing one thing: splitting off the company, like Meg Whitman did to Hewlett-Packard, HP. That's hurting HP even as we speak. Meg Whitman doesn't see that, aside from the fact that she's a woman. She doesn't see that. And Meg Whitman didn't really do that much for eBay either many years before. So basically, she doesn't. She's showing, again, as I said about the other two idiots, they don't know business. She doesn't know business, so therefore she's hurting the company. She's not helping the company. And on top of that, with the split off, Meg Whitman put pink slips to those who have been with the Hewlett Packard for a large number to moderate to minimal numbers of years, that were still doing a good job, that were still more than beneficial to the company. But did that matter to Meg Whitman? No. She claimed to be about business, and she claimed to be and then she reported on Fox News as if she was Fox Business News, among other Wall Street Journal deals, right? That she was about the the staff being, of course, the employees of HP. That's a load of shit. You cannot give pink slips to a number of people who have also been around with the company for a number of years, even a moderate to almost total moderate years, even in the beginning stretch of their years with the company. You cannot say that after serving out pink slips. You can still expand. You can still split off the company and still keep those same employees. You idiot, Meg Whitman. And it's the same Meg Whitman that tried to run for governor of California. So we've got now 3 people that do not know business, 2 that do not know retail, 1 that does not know business aside from being a female. And I know there are females out there that are a lot better business oriented than Meg Whitman will ever be. So therefore, I'm not down talking women at all. Just to let you know. The one thing is also is that Gap is going to keep their store alongside with Banana Republic. The other 2 are going to be separate, but still somewhat interconnected. As I said, just like HP. Be that, of course, just like Hewlett-Packard. That will completely make it even harder for the Gap to survive. What Gap needs to do is disassociate itself with Banana Republic, disassociate itself with Old Navy and the others. Be a separate company as it started in its beginnings. Then once it rebuilds itself up gradually, if they do it the smart way and the logical way, and the positive way as well, then they can reassociate themselves ever so gradually and slowly with those companies. But within the financial attributes and smart business sense, because I believe they just did it just to try to better compete with their other competitors and at a faster pace, and not even paying attention to what their actual financial backing was, even their support outside the NYSE to start with, and even along with the NYSE in the later parts of it. That is what can easily make a company go from this way, and then if they do things too quickly, goes down. The Gap is more than gradually becoming like the Payless shoe source is now, to the point of non-existence. The Gap will eventually follow that same creed as Radio Shack, Mervyn's, Circuit City, Suncoast. I believe Suncoast is gone anyway too. So, and Wards, Montgomery Wards, that is. So I'm putting it out there for Sears to get rid of the idiot that's currently CEO president and the president, essentially, those 2 idiots, and or even if it's just the one idiot, and replace him with somebody else that knows business and knows retail a lot better. And for JCPenney to pull out of the NYSE, and Sears Kmart needs to do the same thing. and gradually rebuild themselves from that point. Just like In-N-Out Burger's been successful with doing, with not being a part of the NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange. And Gap needs to do the same thing, along with disassociating. Gap needs to also disassociate itself with and disconnect itself from Banana Republic, Old Navy, and the others, and then gradually rebuild itself up, along with disattaching itself from the NYSE. And if each of those companies take my advice on that, then we will possibly see a a flourish of those original well-known name brand companies rebuilding itself and re-expanding. And the only thing is, if they don't, it's not my fault. I know business, and if they want me to help them, I can. Because the one thing is, I know retail and I know business a lot better than they realize. And the one thing is, also, if they don't come to me, then guess what? And they'll need to do it in a smart way, not the stockholders' way. Because the stockholders' way is not always the right way. Hell, it's not been the right way and when it comes to stockholders' methods for a number of companies even before that. So again, JCPenney's, there's no way you're going to be able to outdo Sears, and Sears better do exactly what I said earlier. And the Gap better do what I said. Also, Meg Whitman better get the hell out of HP before HP goes completely under the brink below Intel, because that's exactly where it's leading with the way she the way she did the split off of Hewlett-Packard. And Meg Whitman better be pulled out before anything else goes drastically and dramatically wrong. This is C.R.P.H.A., business advocate for the troops of our country and who are serving our country and who have served our country. I salute you and thank you for your service. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Seeing that today is Sunday, May 12th, 2019, actually. Yeah. And please stay safe and also have a good day. And may Heavenly Father bless the United States of America. And may Heavenly Father bless you all, and also Trump for 2020 for United States of America's president in 2020.